Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be showing you how I make my pumpkin cream cheese coffee cake. The layers are phenomenal and the coffee cake is delicious. Just so you know, all of the ingredients for each layer of the coffee cake will be labeled in the description box down below. Now let's get started on the pumpkin layer. I'm going to mix my eggs together, just a little bit. It's not that serious. You can use a whisk if you want to, but you really don't need to. Okay, then I'm going to add my sugars, my white sugar and my brown sugar. And then I'm going to mix that together. Make sure you get all of the clumps of the brown sugar so that way it'll be smooth. Now if you're not able to get the clumps, then use a whisk, but you should really be able to easily get those clumps. Now that our sugars are added, we're going to add the cinnamon, ground ginger, nutmeg, and salt. And then we're going to mix it around a little bit more. I made my pumpkin from scratch, so if you want to know how I made it from scratch, I will leave the video in the description box down below. You can use canned pumpkin if you want to, but I prefer for it to be from scratch. So I'm going to add my pumpkin into the mixture and then continue to mix. Okay. I have 1 can of Eagle brand sweetened condensed milk. That's my favorite brand. You use whichever brand you want to. Now I'm going to add the can of sweetened and condensed milk. I'm just going to mix that in as well. Now that the pumpkin layer is mixed together well, we're going to set it aside and work on the other layers. Next, let's do the cream cheese layer. I have my cream cheese softened at room temperature, so I'm going to start by mixing that around. To the cream cheese, I'm going to add a splash of vanilla, sugar, and 2 eggs. And then I'm going to mix it all around until it comes together smoothly. Now that we're done with the cream cheese mixture, we're going to put it to the side and work on the next. Now let's work on the cake batter. I have 1 stick of unsalted butter at room temperature. I'm going to beat the butter. Once the butter is a little creamy, I'm going to go ahead and add my sugar. Now that the butter and sugar are combined well, I'm going to add 2 eggs to the mixture and a splash of vanilla and finish mixing it together. Now that our butter, sugar, and eggs are combined well, I have 2 cups of flour. I'm going to add some salt and some baking powder to the flour mixture, and I'm just going to mix it together. Okay, I've got my butter mixture, I've got my flour mixture, and I've got the milk. I'm going to mix them all together to make the cake mixture. Let's start with adding a little bit of milk and about half the flour. Now let's add the rest of the milk to the batter and mix that together. Now that we've added all of the milk to the batter, let's finish it off with the rest of the flour and finish mixing it all together. Our cake batter is done. Now let's put that to the side with the rest of our mixtures and work on the sugar topping. Now let's work on the sugary topping, also known as the streusel. I melted 1 stick of butter. To the butter, I'm going to add the brown sugar. I'm going to mix the brown sugar a little bit. Then I'm going to add the cinnamon. Mix that. And then finish it off with the flour. Now we're going to mix it all together. Now that our streusel topping is complete, we're going to set it aside with our mixtures. Let's put our coffee cake together. I buttered and floured my baking dish, and I have our 3 batters. I have the cake batter, I have the pumpkin batter, and I have the cheesecake batter. I'm going to start with half of the cake batter. You want to put half of the cake batter at the bottom. And then smooth it around evenly as best you can. After I've added half of the cake batter, I'm going to add half the pumpkin batter as well. Okay? After I've added half the pumpkin batter, I'm going to add half the cheesecake batter. Okay. Pay attention. After I've added half of the cheesecake batter, now I'm going to add the other half of the pumpkin batter. Okay, now look at it. You'll notice that there's a few spots that are missing. So with the rest of the cheesecake batter, I'm going to fill it in the empty spots. It doesn't have to be perfect because there is just so much cheesecake batter. There will be plenty of cream cheese to go all the way around. Okay, now we're going to take the rest of our cake batter, the other half, and we're going to put it on the top as evenly as possible. Because the other batters are a little bit runny, that's fine. Now that we've assembled our cake mixtures, we're going to take the streusel topping. I'm going to stick our hands in there, and we're just going to crumble pieces on top. This is what my coffee cake looks like after I put the streusel on top. Now I have my oven set for 375 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and throw it in there for about an hour. This is how my coffee cake looks when I take it out of the oven. If you'd like to see more videos of my cooking, don't forget to subscribe.